Many of my students get confused when asking questions and they have to choose between qué and cuál. And that's what we're going to cover in today's video. Hola, soy Alejandro de KeySpanish, and let's dive into today's contents. We're going to start talking about qué and cuál to just ask for things in a more general sense. Then we're going to look into the particular case of qué and cuál when using the verb ser. And we're going to finish with a few idiomatic expressions with qué that you might not be familiar with. One of the challenges of these two question words is that we tend to translate them as qué is what and cuál is which works most of the time, but not always. Let's start with the examples that do work. And it's when we ask for things in a more general sense. When using que, you can follow with a verb other than ser and ask something like ¿Qué comemos hoy? What do we eat today? O ¿Qué quieres hacer mañana? What do you want to do tomorrow? ¿Qué compramos para la fiesta? What do we buy for the party? So you can see here it translates pretty well to just what. ¿Qué comemos? ¿Qué compramos? ¿Qué quieres hacer? So with que plus noun instead of a verb, we are now mentioning the type of thing we ask about. So, ¿qué camiseta te gusta más? What t-shirt do you like the most? O ¿qué película quieres ver? What movie do you want to watch? Again, pretty straightforward because it translates directly as to what. And now let's look at cuál plus verb. In this case, we are not asking about just any type of things, but one or various things from a group that has been already identified. Let's look at some examples. I can say just ¿Cuál te gusta más? Which one do you like the most? And either because it has been mentioned before or by the context, it is pretty clear, like you are in the store holding a t-shirt, then you know what you are talking about. So you can just say ¿Cuál te gusta más? Referring to la camiseta. O ¿Cuál quieres ver? Which one do you want to watch? We were talking before about a movie. ¿Quieres ver una película? O ¿Qué película quieres ver? And then ¿Cuál quieres ver? Would be which one do you want to watch? And with cuál, we can use the verb ser again to ask for a thing that has been already identified. So we are saying, mira, estas camisetas son muy cómodas. ¿Cuál es la más barata? These t-shirts are very comfortable. Which one is the cheapest? You can also say, ¿Cuál es la camiseta más barata? You can repeat the thing, but it's not necessary. So, ¿Cuál es? And what you are referring to, it's also a good option to say which one. One thing to note about cuál is that it has a plural form, as opposed to que, which is always que, does not change. But if we are asking about something plural, estas camisetas son muy cómodas, ¿cuáles son las más baratas? Then you need to change everything to the plural form, ¿cuáles son? Instead of previously, ¿cuál es la más barata? Now, ¿cuáles son? Which ones are the cheapest? So far, you can see that you can easily translate que to what and cuál to which when we are generally asking for things. Let's do a quick recap of what we have seen so far. We use que either with a verb to say ¿Qué comemos hoy? What do we eat today? Or follow it with a noun to mention the type of thing more specifically we are asking about. ¿Qué helado prefieres? Okay, comemos hoy with the verb general, ¿qué helado? Of the things we can eat, the helado, which one do you prefer? So, what ice cream do you prefer? And then with cuál or cuáles, we are now asking not for the type of thing in general, but for something in a group that has been already mentioned. So you could either say ¿Cuál prefieres? ¿Cuál quieres? Which one do you prefer? Which one do you want? O ¿Cuál plus ser? Vale, te gustan todos los helados, pero ¿cuál es el más barato? Okay, do you like all of the ice cream, but which one is the cheapest or the best? ¿Cuál es el más barato? And remember, plural form of cuál is cuáles. So, ¿cuáles prefieres? ¿Los de chocolate o los de vainilla? And let's look at two other things. And there are two more things to note about cuál. So you can just say ¿Cuál te gusta más? Which one do you like the most? Because the context will make clear what you are talking about. But if it's not clear by the context, you can use this structure. Don't worry about the demonstrative noun. That might be more confusing than helpful. But you could use the structure of ¿Cuál de estas camisetas te gusta más? Which of these t-shirts do you like the most? And you can vary estas with esto, estas, este, esa, aquel. We have a lesson on demonstratives. I will leave a link around the video, see if you are not familiar with those. But cuál de, and the demonstrative, esta, esa, aquella, it's a helpful way followed by the noun to identify the thing if the context is not clear. And the second thing I want to share about cuál is a case in which they use it with a noun, but that's, as far as I know, just from Colombia northwards, although it's extending to other areas of America, it seems. But this is not common in Spain, right? We would never say something like ¿Cuál camiseta te gusta más? Which t-shirt do you like the most? In Spain, we only would say ¿Qué camiseta te gusta más? But in Latin America, in some areas, cuál and noun is a structure you might encounter. And now things will start to get a bit more confusing, but not too much. And it's with que and cuál followed by ser. Now, we use que es, we are asking for a definition or classification of something or someone. For example, if I say ¿Qué es una tapa?, means that I'm not familiar with the concept of tapa. I've never been to Spain, never heard what a tapa is. So I would tell you, okay, es una pequeña ración de comida que acompaña a la bebida. It's a small portion of food that normally goes along with a beer or with a drink, right? So think of ¿Qué es? As a question that could be answered with a dictionary. It's a definition. I'm not familiar with the concept. You are asking what kind of thing is a tapa. If, however, I'm asking with ¿Cuál es?, I know what I'm asking about, but I need to identify it among many options. So, ¿Cuál es la tapa más popular en Madrid? Is what or which is the most popular tapa in Madrid? And this is where our translation breaks down, right? Because in English, I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but both of these will be correct. You can say, what is the most popular tapa in Madrid? Which is the most popular tapa in Madrid? Not in Spanish, that is only possible with cuáles. And now, again, I know what a tapa is, but of the many tapas that there are, I want to know which one is the most popular. I hope that distinction is clear. With ¿Qué es?, we are asking for a definition of something. ¿Qué es una tapa? ¿Qué es un robot? ¿No? ¿Qué es un neurólogo? So I'm not familiar with these concepts. So I need to tell me what it is. And then I can ask you ¿Cuál es?, something more specific to identify. O ¿Cuál es el robot más avanzado del mundo? What's the most advanced robot in the world? O ¿Cuál es el neurólogo de más prestigio en España? Which one is the most prestigious neurologist in Spain? So ¿Qué es?, to ask for definition, classification of something. ¿Cuál es?, to identify something we know what it is. We are familiar with the concept. So now let's see if you understood with some practice exercise. Remember to interact with me, pause, and try to answer out loud. Be interactive, okay? No seas vago. Don't be lazy. John is asking, ¿libro has leído esta semana? ¿Libro has leído esta semana? The answer is Reina Roja. Es fantástico. So pause if you need to. What would be the correct words here? It's more, could be one or two words. It would be ¿Qué? ¿Qué libro has leído esta semana? What book have you read this week? Right? I'm asking about something that's specific. Now, if I ask tu película favorita, mar adentro, sin duda, what would be the question? It would be ¿Cuál es tu película favorita? I'm asking about something, about a group of things, of possible options, right? I'm asking which one is your favorite. ¿Cuál es tu película favorita? Let's do a couple more. El verbo más difícil de conjugar en español. Creo que satisfacer. Es muy raro. What would be the question we're missing here? ¿Cuál es? ¿Cuál es el verbo más difícil de conjugar en español? Which is the most difficult verb to conjugate in Spanish? And satisfacer, to satisfy. I dare you to try to conjugate that verb in the comments, in the present or in the pretérito, indefinido, in the past. without looking it up. If you are able to do that, I will be very impressed. So, one last question will be el subjuntivo. Let's pay attention to the answer. So he's saying es un modo verbal del español. So what is John asking? Well, he's asking ¿qué es el subjuntivo? He's not familiar with the concept of subjuntivo, hasn't heard that before. So what is it? I'm not familiar with it. Well, it's a verbal mode, right? I don't know in English how you call that. It's not the tense, really. What is a verbal mode in Spanish? Modo verbal del español. And let's finish today's lesson with some idiomatic expressions using que that you might enjoy. The first one is pretty straightforward. I'm sure you have heard this one. It's just ¿qué tal estás? ¿Qué tal estás? How are you? Another one would be ¿qué te parece? ¿Qué te parece? It's what do you think about it? What do you think about it? This one is pretty common, right? Many people say that. Parecer could be also what does it seem to you? But more natural translation, what do you think about it? Another one, ¿a mí qué? ¿A mí qué? You can translate this maybe as what do I care? Right? What are you talking about? What I don't care about it. So, ¿a mí qué? There's a spelling mistake here. It will be a mí with tilde. Sorry about that. One more would be ¿a qué viene ese comentario? Or ¿a qué viene whatever? You can follow with ¿a qué viene with many things. Where does that come from? Like you are offended by it, right? So that's out of place. So you can say, ¿a qué viene ese comentario? Or ¿a qué viene esa cara? Where is that face coming from? Like that's inappropriate. So ¿a qué viene plus something to express some, unpleasant surprise. And the last one is to say what in English. So, ¿qué día tan bonito? What a beautiful day. Or, ¿qué tío más estúpido? What a stupid guy. Whatever you want to follow what is just ¿qué? ¿Qué día tan bonito? ¿Qué tío más estúpido? ¿Qué película más interesante? I hope you found those expressions interesting to compensate a bit for the more grammar-focused contents of today, but I think it's pretty clear now. To ask for things in a general sense, you can translate que as what, cuál as which, but then when using ser, que is for the definition, the classification of something. Think of it as the dictionary answer of it. I'm not familiar with the concept. I need to know what it is. And cuál es, I'm familiar with something, but I need to identify the thing, right, among other options. So, ¿qué es una tapa? What is a tapa? But ¿cuál es tu tapa preferida? Which one is your favorite tapa? If you enjoyed the lesson, please dale a me gusta and give it a like. It really helps. And you can continue learning Spanish with a video we made on how to use ya and todavía, which is another of the challenges my students face regularly. And I hope you found that useful too. Y nos vemos en clase.